This is a perfect Trump move, okay? He f***s things up irreparably, causes instability, and at the end of that process, he gets nothing out of it that he wouldn't have gotten if he went through the normal process and did not offend every European leader. Art of the deal, another Trump classic. It's like the same as the tariffs. I'm doing tariffs. Everyone's like, oh, this is going to be American Prosperity Liberation Day. He's like, I'm taking the tariffs off. He's like, oh, art of the deal. You didn't win anything in the process. You did not win anything in the process. You lost in the process. It doesn't make any sense. Let's get to it. Trump announced his framework for Greenland deal. We're going to talk about that. Obviously, the international rule-based order is falling apart. Trump's hand is also falling apart. This time it's his left hand and not the one that's Trump's left hand, not the one that's usually disfigured, now has a large bruise and is discolored. These pictures are from today at Davos. Also, one of the things I saw was the ugly-ass cufflinks that he has. Bro, this man is dying. Trump is now 3 different colors. I mean, look at how orange his face is versus how pasty and pale his hand is versus how purple his hand is. Speak into existence, please. I can't. On principle, I can't, because I feel like whichever way it goes, it's just not going to happen. Okay. Good things, nothing good will happen. Only bad can happen. Okay. The exact opposite of what Donald Trump says. Only bad can happen. Nothing good can happen. I'm telling you right now, evil never dies. Evil never dies. Maybe I'm wrong, but evil never dies, at least in my experience. It is pretty funny, though, how like Russified or Turkified Americans are in this regard. Hoping that one day it will happen. Yeah, keep praying to God. Okay, keep praying to God. You only pray to God, or you only rely on powerful forces that you lean into when you have no power on your own. You're oppressed. You recognize it, and you can't do anything about it. There's no mechanism of mobilization. There's no mechanism of pushback. So you just like hope that things work out through divine intervention. Okay. White House made a statement on his hand. Okay. Going back to the hand bruise. Well, once again, let's see what the White House's statement was. White House's statement. Trump appeared to have a heavy bruising on his left hand while departing. Open presents with another 100 gifted subs. Oh, my Lord. Trump appeared to have heavy bruising on his left hand while departing Davos today. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told CNN that's because Trump hit his hand on the signing table during the Board of Peace event. At the Board of Peace event in Davos, President Trump hit his hand on the corner of the signing table, causing it to bruise. Trump and his physicians have previously said he is susceptible to hand bruising due to his daily aspirin take, something a White House official also noted. Trump did not appear to have the extensive bruising yesterday. Bro, I'm still going to say it. Evil never dies. But like, this man is fragile, bro. He is frail. He is a frail ass dude. It's crazy. I mean, he's old as hell, but like, what is happening? You just like, you have like a major rupture. You have a major rupture. You got, bro, this is more internal bleeding than Jonathan Ross, okay? Than the Department of Homeland Security claiming Jonathan Ross got internal bleeding. That's more internal bleeding and bruising than Jonathan Ross ever could claim. Do you understand? You don't exercise, you don't eat well. I know, but it don't matter. Can you please be respectful? He has a boo-boo? No. Oh, man. How do we keep believing anything knowing the Peace Club got 35 countries in? True question, King. How? We don't. The tech bros did the Trump what the Democratic bosses did to FDR, replaced Trump with their pick a VP, just like the DNC replaced the great American progressive Wallace with Truman. I mean, I do believe that could happen. Because I've said it before, the only way J.D. Vance actually gets close to power is not by way of democracy, but if Donald Trump somehow passes away. Okay? I don't think there is a real way, there's a real path forward for J.D. Vance to win the presidency on his own. It's just not happening. And that is because he is not a Chad. He is not even a low-tier normie. He does not mog anyone. Everyone is capable of mogging him. He's fat, and he sucks. He's Rizless. He can't mog, and it's a mog eat. Can you get the door? It's a mog eat mog world out there, baby. That's how it is. Do you know what that is? Okay.
Departing Davos just hours after backing off his threats to take Greenland by force and scrapping plans to impose tariffs on European allies who are not on board. The president sitting down with NATO Secretary General, emerging with a framework of a deal. The president claiming the U.S. will take full control of Greenland, but not telling us how.
Will you have control of all of Greenland, Mr. President?
How many countries?
You will have control of all of Greenland?
But the Danish foreign minister has made it clear Greenland is not for sale. The White House not providing any further details about a framework or deal.
Does it still include the United States having ownership of Greenland like you said you wanted?
It's a long-term deal. It's the ultimate long-term deal. And I think it puts everybody in a really good position, especially as it pertains to...
JD Vance is live in Minnesota speaking. Do we have the link? Let's take a look. I'll dive into that. I'll fucking get into that. I'll cover it. Where's that at? All right. Let's get back to Donald Trump treating white countries, European countries, like they're non-white countries, and the impact that has had on the European continent.
Long-term deal. It's the ultimate long-term deal. And I think it puts everybody in a really good position, especially as it pertains to security and minerals and everything else.
This morning, NATO Secretary General telling Reuters the deal calls for allies to step up their Arctic security measures and believes it can be done early this year. The president has insisted the U.S. needs Greenland for national security, but an existing agreement already allows the president to expand American military presence on the island. On the world stage, the president repeatedly bashing America's European allies who have been critical of his goal.
Certain places in Europe are not even recognizable, frankly, anymore. They're not recognizable. And we can argue about it, but there's no argument.
His threat to hit our allies with steep tariffs sent the market tumbling, something the president himself acknowledged as he repeatedly confused Greenland with the country of Iceland.
They're not there for us on Iceland, that I can tell you. I mean, our stock market took the first dip yesterday because...
This is also another very funny moment where he just kept saying Iceland over and over again when talking about Greenland. And then Caroline Leavitt was like, actually, the president clearly meant Greenland, but because Greenland is very icy, he just said Iceland. That's a different country. I cannot believe how stupid this goddamn administration is and how hard they're caping, how hard they're coping, and how hard they're caping, how hard they're sweeping for someone who is objectively in the throes of dementia. Okay? It's fine, man. He's Brandoning. Okay? It's Brandonian. It's Brandanistan. We are in Brandon. We are deep in the throes of Brandon.
Because of Iceland. So Iceland's already cost us a lot of money.
The president now says he will not use military force to seize Greenland, but he knocked the critical NATO alliance that came to America's defense after the 9/11 attacks, the first and only time Article 5 was ever invoked.
They have a choice. You can say yes, and we will be...
Can't believe it. We saw the Dems do it to Biden for 4 years. I know. I hate it. There is no reward for being intellectually honest or morally consistent, for the record. And you shouldn't expect the reward regardless. You should just do it for the sake of doing the right thing. But as someone who was very aggressively in pursuit of calling into question the media's servile nature, getting mad at the media for making it seem like Brandon wasn't, clearly demented for like the last 5 years or so, it is very frustrating to see. It is very frustrating to see Donald Trump go through similar things, and then right-wing media will so aggressively defend it. Okay? Right-wing media will just be like, oh, that's not what, shut up. Iceland is next, actually. We're going to take Iceland. He was right when he said Iceland. I will say, as someone who is an anti-imperialist, these past couple of days of watching European leadership squirm, I would be lying to you if I didn't find a little bit of pleasure in that, just like a crumb, especially after these animals turned a blind eye to the atrocities that they were committing in Gaza especially because it happened literally like a week after. Not even a week after, but like a couple days after they were celebrating Donald Trump's excellent military operation in Venezuela. Okay? It's just like watching it unfold, like, you know, seeing these guys go, wait a minute, you're treating us like a brown person. You're treating us like we're a black or brown country. Hold on, we're a white country. What is this? It was pretty funny. Will this actually turn into a wake-up call for European leadership? Will this actually be a wake-up call for European liberals to take a hardened stance and try to develop sovereignty? I don't think so, as I said already. I mean, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Look, this was really funny. Britain must declare independence from America or it will die. Tim Stanley on the 18th of January. 11th of January, Trump controls the world and Britain ought to let him have it. We gain nothing by pretending we're still a world power while our nation rots from the inside. Hasan, the Euro cucks every time.
Sticker. Punish me, Daddy. And we seem a part of an elite group who takes matters into his own hands.
Oh, punish me. Oh, punish me.
Bro, these things are getting, it's like, if I were to get banned for this, I should be getting banned for watching Mark Rutte speak about Donald Trump, like without wiping the cum out of the side of his mouth. You know what I mean? Like, like this is functionally no different than listening to Mark Rutte speak while still gargling in the back of his throat Trump's semen. Okay. He's like, oh, well, yes, of course I called him daddy. Of course he is daddy. Like, is that Mark Rober? Yeah, Mark Rober is making analysis about the people bootlicking law enforcement. You wouldn't talk this way to Bob? Yeah, because we're amongst ourselves, okay? They just arrested the woke farmer and White House posted it. What is this statement, man? They just arrested the woke farmer? What? I mean, I don't disbelieve you. I feel like that's a thing that could happen. I don't know who the woke farmer is, but was he farming too much woke? The woke farmer was crime maxing and he got. Okay, you joke, but we are literally a week out from the Department of Homeland Security posting exactly that. Okay? Like, the woke farmer was apprehended earlier today for crime maxing is something that I can see the Department of Homeland Security post or the White House posting that.
Very appreciative, or you can say no, and we will remember.
And Denmark making it clear this morning they're willing to negotiate on all political matters, from the economy to security, but they say they will not negotiate when it comes to their sovereignty. This morning, the president met with his proposed board of peace to map out the future of Gaza. It is notable just how few European allies are sitting on that board, given all of these tensions happening abroad. And the president also plans to meet with President Zelensky of Ukraine this morning as well. Robin.
All right, Rachel, thank you for your reporting.
Now to another big event for President Trump at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. This morning, he launched his so-called Board of Peace. It's designed to oversee Gaza. The president also tried to calm the concerns of NATO allies over his demand to take control of Greenland. He says they sorted out a framework of a future deal, his words. Ed O'Keefe is in Davos watching all of this for us. Ed, good morning. What is the latest?
Well, good morning. You know, after weeks of focus on Greenland, the president is spending his final hours overseas today focused on the two biggest foreign policy challenges that he faces. He's meeting with Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky, telling reporters he wants to get that done, the war between Ukraine and Russia. And as you said, he's launching what he calls the Board of Peace to help rebuild the Gaza Strip. But notably, there were several close American allies who didn't show up.
You're the biggest people, the most important people in the world.
Davos was the place President Trump officially launched his Board of Peace, a new body to help resolve the conflict in Gaza. On the list, more than a dozen nations, including Saudi Arabia and
Board
NATO.
of Peace? Yeah, I'm bored of peace. Let's do more war. That's what I'd be like.
Ally Turkey. But notably absent today, several close American allies like France, the United Kingdom, and Israel. The president has previously said the board could replace some duties of the United Nations.
But there's tremendous potential.
Board of Peace. Board of Peace with Hitler, Mussolini. Like pepper in some former historic fascist figures as well. You know, you got some contemporary ones in there. Benjamin Netanyahu's on it.
The United.
Here, if you want to understand how stupid this concept is, Benjamin Netanyahu is a criminal, right? He's a war criminal. The ICC has already delivered a warrant out for his arrest, which is precisely the reason why he was not able to attend the Board of Peace summit that was taking place in Switzerland, because the Swiss government said if Benjamin Netanyahu were to actually come on Swiss soil, they would arrest him. So he actually couldn't even attend the Board of Peace summit. That's how stupid this process is.
Nations, and I think the combination of the Board of Peace with the kind of people we have here, coupled with the United Nations, can be something very, very unique for the world.
But it was Trump's threats to take over Greenland that dominated discussions at Davos.
You coming to Murderapolis tomorrow, right? Yes. Murderapolis. I will be inside of you tomorrow. I'm coming to Somaliapolis tomorrow. I'm going to Murderapolis tomorrow. It's going to be minus 50 degrees or some shit. I don't even know how I'm going to deal with that. I got we had to order a bunch of thermal gear. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be icy, dude. Yeah, I got mass security too. Armed security, as a matter of fact. Don't even try nothing. It's going to be minus 45 wind chill tomorrow. Yeah. The march is short, and I think the rally is inside. We're getting 1.5 feet snow in OKC, Lamau. Yeah, I got layers on layers on layers. I was watching a video from Ulaanbaatar about how they layer up. I was watching a video from the coldest point in Russia. You know how when there's a place in Russia where you go outside and your eyebrows freeze off, and what kind of layering they do in order to make it to make it out there alive in the Siberian tundra. Bro, it's so cold. They're warning that the trees might explode. What does that even mean? That your batteries are going to last a lot less too? Yeah, I'm actually a little worried about that. Do you have battery warmers for the IRL kit? The batteries are going to be reduced capacity in extreme cold. I just assume that the machine itself it runs hot, so the cooling will actually help it, it's like a data center built in Greenland. You know what I mean? The water freezes inside the tree and expands and explodes trees. Do you have attachable cleats for traction on ice? They're pretty cheap and 100% worth it. I don't. Your cam is going to last 30 minutes. Okay, I didn't think about that. I've been thinking about that, but I don't know what to do. Wait, are you going out there this weekend? Get some wool socks from Costco? I got a bunch of shit. Your phone will die so fast in sub-zero temps. You actually might die for real just from the cold. Minnesota cold is different, bro. I know. I'm more worried about the cold than I am of some psycho trying to ice me. Use Vaseline on any exposed skin. Remember to do short steps on icy ground. One bad fall can fuck you up. You're going to need 10-toe warmers in your shoe. Just buy some hand warmers and you'll be good with the batteries. Ulaanbaatar is in Mongolia, though. I know. I was saying I looked at Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia to see how they layer up. I looked at that, the coldest place in Siberia, because this lady, remember we watched a video from a lady who lives in the coldest point in Russia, and how when she tries to do vlogs, when she goes outside, her camera dies immediately. It's hard to even have the camera running for an extended period of time. I don't know how we're going to do that. People making it sound like you're going to Antarctica. Yes, because we are going to Antarctica. It's minus 50 with wind chills. They are doing an exploding, dude. Exploding trees are possible in the Midwest and northern plains on Friday and Saturday as temperatures are forecast to fall 20 degrees below zero. Do you understand how nutty that shit is, bro? Dry socks. Never walk around without having dry socks. Very important. You might not believe it. Make Kaya the camera woman, strap it to her. Kaya's not coming with me to Minneapolis. He basically is. I don't think chat knows what it's like up there. I'm in northern Iowa. I'm afraid of Minnesota weather. Yeah. Trees don't explode in the cold. Mythbusters proved it. Shut up, nerd. in Canada, you're not allowed to work for more than a couple hours in that weather. Be careful. I wonder how Kaya. I actually do wonder how Kaya would react in you know, weather like that. Like, is she acclimated? Is she a California girly like her dad? You know what I mean? Would she love it? I mean, she always wants to be outside. Like, I'll be watching anime after the stream, and she will paw at the door to try to open it to go outside. And it's not like cold outside, but it's like colder, right? It's like 60 degrees, minus 60, maybe 50 degrees. Look at this thing. Little baby. Little Baba. I bet she's dreaming about the tundra. She doesn't even know what it is. She's never seen snow, but she's dreaming about it. She's dreaming about something that she has never seen before. Hasan, Google betraying you? What? Why are Turks afraid of the cold? That's what you Googled? Turkish people do not afraid of cold any more than other nations, especially fishers. The weather is but cold enough, which is bad for fishing. Haha, this is a good, hilarious observation as a Turkish person. That's crazy that you Googled that shit. It's a lie. Google is a İngiliz uşağı, a British, a servant of the British Empire, for putting out slander such as this. How dare you?
This week, and now
We have a concept of a deal. I think it's going to be a very good deal for the United States, also for them. And we're going to work together on something having to do with the Arctic as a whole, but also Greenland, and it has to do with the security, great security, strong security, and other things.
The president said the breakthrough came after a meeting with the head of NATO, posting he will not be imposing the tariffs on Denmark, which controls the island, and
Lenin did it in the Russian winter 110 years ago. You are a certified Menshevik fraud. If you can't take it, sorry, man. Oh, that's funny. Okay, that actually, you're right. You're right. And Lenin was bald. Lenin, he was bald as so he got more exposure up there too, you know what I mean?
and other European nations. He also vowed not to use the military to capture Greenland.
I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force.
But he attacked NATO allies as unreliable partners.
We want strong allies, not seriously weakened ones.
North Carolina Republican Senator Tom Tillis called the president's rhetoric on Greenland a false crisis.
The fact that the president says U.S. military involvement in taking Greenland is off the table, does that ease your concerns?
No, because it was never on the table. I mean, that's a false concession. If anybody thinks that the U.S. Congress would have stood for any sort of...
Yeah, no, you guys definitely would have launched a strong opposition against Donald Trump if he saw it fit. Sure, surely. Nobody thinks of the U.S. Congress at all, big dog. Okay? You're not even running. You have the freedom to say whatever the fuck you want, and you're still cucked, which leads me to believe that U.S. Congress ain't doing shit. U.S. Congress would never stand for this, I say. Yeah, okay, sure.
Troops moved to Greenland. I believe we'd have veto-proof majorities.
Congress has been very vocal against this, to be fair. It don't matter. They were vocal against U.S. aid as well, and the only way that they clawed it back was through the Supreme Court. They have no motion. Congress is effectively neutered. The legislative body in this country is straight up neutered. The stock market is the only other branch of the government is right. Okay? The only thing we have seen that Trump responds to is the stock market. And it allows him to do whatever the fuck he wants to. Like, he can, if the stock market doesn't actually respond negatively to, I don't know, arresting and prosecuting and maybe even killing Jerome Powell for not lowering interest rates, if the stock market doesn't respond negatively to it, he'll do it. He'll do whatever the fuck he wants to. And considering that we are in unprecedented times with money being more fake than it ever has been, the only option you have is to try to punish the bond market or try to punish the stock market. Yeah, the separation of powers between the bond market and the stock market, those are the only two branches outside of the federal government. He tacoed. I also don't like the taco Trump thing about Greenland. It's objectively a good thing that he's not leaning further into, military incursion into Greenland.
2 weeks.
Well, Democrats in the crowd, like Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, said even though Trump's backed off his threats, they damaged relationships.
The president's speech was dangerous, disrespectful, and unhinged. We are less safe when people believe that the United States isn't committed to the NATO alliance.
It's all left Europe frustrated. The German chancellor urged unity during what he called a new era of politics.
We have entered a time of great power politics. Today, its very foundations have been shaken.
Now, on Greenland, 2 diplomatic sources tell CBS News there is no agreement for U.S. control of ownership in that framework, ownership of Greenland, despite the president saying that he's set up an infinite deal or is working towards an infinite deal. The White House and State Department have not yet provided details on what exactly is in this framework. And this morning, Denmark's prime minister welcomed the president, saying he's not going to use military force to take Greenland, but he reiterated we can negotiate on everything political, security, investments, economy, but we cannot negotiate on our sovereignty. In other words,
I'm telling you right now, first of all, this deal is not done. We don't know what it actually is going to totally look like at the end of the day. But it basically, to me, it feels like this back and forth, this chaos, treating our European vassals as the vassals like they are. All of that was mostly just the flex. Because, like, ultimately what they're giving him is a little bit more sovereignty over the military bases that he has already. And there are versions of this in play already, like with the British bases in Cyprus that are technically considered British soil, right? Like there is no, there is the deal itself is like not that different, right? The deal itself is not that different from the previous deal, which is that Denmark is a NATO country and therefore Greenland is a part of Denmark and therefore a part of America. As excited as I am to have you come up to Minneapolis tomorrow, it probably doesn't bode well for the likelihood of you moving here, lol. Yeah, that's probably not happening anytime soon. Let's be real. Asmongold pulled you up in his chat right now. Oh, no, dude. What will I do? Oh, no, dude. Oh, no, the Roach Man. He can't talk too much about this Greenland stuff, so he's got to talk about how Bro, Asmongold pulled you up now. Oh, no. How about he pull up some WikiHows on how to wash his ass, dude?
As far as they're concerned, Gail, the U.S. will never control Greenland.
Yeah, Ed, before you go, let's do a little deeper dive on this because the president arrived. He brought lots of...
When I was in poli-sci class at college, I learned that 95% of NATO was made up of U.S. military. NATO is a protection racket for the American military-industrial complex. That's what it is. They're not going to teach you that in a poli-sci class, obviously, because one of those things, rent-free in your head. Brother, you can't say rent-free in your head when you're like a fan of Asmongold who's coming in here to tell me that he is covering me right now. Like, that's not how this works. You brought him up. You came here, you brought him up, I laughed it off, and now you're like, huh, rent-free, dude. Why do you live rent-free in Hasan's head in Asmongold's chat? And then he comes in here and he goes, oh, rent-free, dude. This is... It's impossible to deal with people this stupid, okay? You just can't. You just have to laugh. There's nothing you can do. No, he goes in there. He goes in there to say, oh, Hasan is always thinking about you. He's always talking about you. Why do you live rent-free? And Hasan says, and then he comes here and he goes, oh, dude, Asmongold lives rent-free in your head. Brother, the only person whose head I'm living in rent-free is your head. And let me tell you, okay, that shit's like a duplex, empty though, okay? Ain't no furniture up in this bitch. I can hear the echo of my own voice because it's empty, except for just me, apparently. I am the only occupant, the sole occupant inside of your otherwise empty mind. I think these guys are harder to deal with than Bob is. You know what I mean? Hasan loves dogs. He talks about me every day in his chat, it seems. You're falling off and crashing out, and you're crashing out because you're falling off every Asmon chatter. I know. Hasan, stop falling for this low effort bait. I mean, every now and then I'll entertain it because it's funny.
Threats, lots of tension, got everybody all riled up. But he's leaving, it seems, some say, without much to show in regards especially to Greenland. Was this trip a success for him? What happened?
If the ultimate long-term goal is to ensure that NATO and the United States are guarding the Arctic Circle, that region, more closely, more carefully, putting more resources there, then the White House is going to argue they are on the verge of achieving that goal, because you've already seen NATO members send more troops just in recent days, and now there's going to be this talk about coming up with some new framework that expands that partnership. But he didn't leave with an agreement to take over the island entirely. There will be no U.S. military force, and Europe is quite upset with him. So, in essence, he didn't get necessarily what he wants, and he upset a lot of American allies.
Good afternoon.
This is a perfect Trump move, okay? A perfect Trump move. He f***s things up irreparably, causes instability, and at the end of that process, he gets nothing out of it that he wouldn't have gotten if he went through the normal process and did not offend every European leader. Art of the deal, another Trump classic. It's like the same as the tariffs. I'm doing tariffs. Everyone's like, oh, this is going to be American Prosperity Liberation Day. He's like, I'm taking the tariffs off. He's like, oh, art of the deal. You didn't win anything in the process. You did not win anything in the process. You lost in the process. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. The initial construct that European vassal states exist under is already American domination. These guys basically spent the last couple of days begging to not be embarrassed, right? Saying like, listen, Mr. President, we have to go back to our own territory. We have to go back to our own countries, and we have to deal with our own people. Like, you're making us look like fools. That was the real problem here for them. We would have given you any amount of Greenland sovereignty, any amount of Greenland space that you need, because you already own Greenland. You own Denmark. You own Greenland. These are NATO allies. You can just put a military base there. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Why do you have to embarrass us in the process? No, it definitely was not what they said. No, dude, I'm saying read between the lines. That's what they are actually saying. They did say that. They kept repeating over and over again. What are you talking about? Denmark is a NATO ally. What do you think that means? What are you talking about? You had military bases on Greenland. You could have more military bases on Greenland. Why are you doing this? I did. Trump was shitting himself. Is this the cope from the Europeans? Is that what the new meta is? That they're like, they were able to, did you even watch his speech? What? He was vacant, dude. Yeah, that's insult to injury. People are saying Rutte, the man who called Trump daddy, who defended him at every single public moment he possibly could, with Trump's semen gargling in the back of his throat, he actually tamed Trump. That's what people are saying. The meta is that EU forced Trump to back down. Oh my God. I mean, sure. Whatever floats your boat, man. Swish chatter here. I felt the bad aura from Trump being in our country. Need him deported ASAP. KW. I see multiple libs stating that he tamed Trump. Like, do they think because Rutte gave him the best blowjob of his life, like better than Laura Loomer ever could, and then he got like kind of tired after that, you know, because he nutted? Is that what people are, is that the assessment here? Or that he nutted and Rutte kept sucking? And that's how he was able to manipulate Trump's body? He was like, oh, Rutte, please stop. No more. I came already, Rutte. And Rutte was like, no, daddy. No. I will keep going. Is that what happened? Rutte, you have so much stamina. You are a free spirit. I have to stand up for 3 hours later. Rutte, please stop. Until I see some motion, more even from like the likes of Mark Carney and many others, until I see some like serious motion, serious attempts at decoupling, serious attempts at like developing sovereignty from European leadership. I am not going to believe that this was a successful punishment for Donald Trump. Okay? It's because the deal he discussed with Rutte is effectively what the U.S. already has. The mining thing is a myth, per Greenland's prime minister. That's what I mean. He didn't get like anything additional, but he could have gotten this deal without doing any of this shit. Okay? He already had this deal. That's my point. My point is he already had this deal because of NATO. This deal has been around since 1951, chatters. Okay? Plus, he hasn't even gotten anything yet. We don't know what the actual deal is going to look like. But exclusive on Bloomberg from Alex Wickham, UK political editor for Bloomberg, says changes to the 1951 treaty to guarantee U.S.-based requirements, strengthen NATO role in the Arctic high north security, will include a multinational NATO command in Greenland under U.S. command, an economic component to be negotiated, including mining rights, measures to stop Russian and Chinese economic and military presence on Greenland. The U.S. stops threatening tariffs on Europe. So before Donald Trump turned around and said, I'm going to take over Greenland with my military, you're going to give me all of it, there was virtually no difference. This is literally the same deal. This is the same deal. My point, I think it's difficult for people to comprehend what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is these are already vassal states, okay? Denmark is a vassal. Every NATO country is already under the protection racket of the American military industrial complex, and therefore these kinds of deals would be achieved without Donald Trump coming out and being like, I'm gonna Greenland. Greenland is mine. I'm gonna molest it. It's my country to molest now. Okay? Yeah, but now China is mentioned. Yeah, how much you want to bet the Australian companies that like engage in mineral extraction in Greenland in the brief period of time where you can even do such a thing under the icy tundra are still going to continue operating with the same Australian companies that have like what 9% Chinese ownership? They're going to still probably continue to operate in extraction in Greenland. So that's not going to change. Just like Venezuelan oil, if China still wants to purchase Venezuelan oil, will still go to China. You don't get it. Trump didn't make that deal, so it was bad. So he made a new one that looks exactly the same one that is good. I know, but this is when liberals basically behave in the same exact way that like Republicans behave. Like, remember when I was talking to Bob yesterday and I detailed out the JCPOA, but this time when Trump is doing it, it was good. Bob was like, I love that deal. Oh, sanctions. We're down to remove sanctions on Iran as long as we get assurances that they will not have nuclear arms. It's literally the same deal that Obama put together. And liberals should be above this. Liberals should be above posturing with like pure anti-Trump sentiment. But in some ways, they do the exact same thing on the other side, right? And because Trump is wrong 99% of the time, you will usually be on the right side of an argument. But the reality of the matter is, this deal is the same as the deal that already existed, which is a deal where America already has dominance over Greenland. That's why people are saying Rutte was successful. They were supposedly able to get Trump to basically accept the status quo by sucking him off enough that he thought it was his own idea. A lot of diplomatic approaches to Trump is just flatter him, and it seems to work to an extent. Yeah, but my problem with this is Trump's instability here should cause European leadership to recognize that the previous mechanisms of control, the liberal world order, post-World War II world order, has basically created this system where European countries are vassals, okay? And therefore, they have no control over this process. So, like, sucking off Donald Trump is only... Like, it's sucking off Donald Trump hard enough that you go back to like the previous formation where you're a happy vassal rather than an angry slave is not actually going to change the dynamic at all. You're still getting, okay? Earlier, when you had 31K live viewers, Asman had 41K. Now you're sitting at 36,000 and he's sitting at 46,000. I know. I know. It's because he's 10,000 viewer better than me in his commentary. I know it is a weird predicament. I am aware. It's always 10K above. I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's normal. Okay. They're noticing. Yeah, I know. They keep saying it over and over again. I wonder what it is. He's generally 10 to 15% more entertaining than you. I agree. That's what I think too. And entertainment value, like saying, yeah, based over and over again, whenever Trump says something or does something, is actually 10% more entertaining than actually trying to address what Trump is trying to do, what the next steps might look like, why this is bad for other countries, where we're headed. I agree. In any case, let's continue. Mass panic yesterday when your banger MAGA segment brought the difference down to 3K. Were the roaches crawling around? You need to move your eyebrows more when you lie. Yeah, this is the classic Trump too. He did the same exact thing with NAFTA and the USMCA. It's virtually the same, but it has a new name, so now it's patriotic and based, while before it was lib and cringe. Yeah. Trump does this shit all the time. New shine, same old bullshit. Okay? You bid on a placement relative to competitors for a search term, so you can always have XX percentage more exposure than a competitor. Anyway, let's continue before we get back to Murderapolis, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Elon Musk gave a speech. I was listening to pieces of it earlier. Elon Musk jokes about Greenland push during surprise appearance at Davos. Good
afternoon, everyone. It's great to see everybody here. It's been an amazing week here in Davos. Hopefully everybody saw that we are having conversations here. Hopefully everybody agrees. There are some conversations that we may have disagreed. There's many conversations that we may have agreed, but through those conversations, and I think today's result with a peace agreement earlier today, the World Economic Forum is here to have those conversations, to have understandings, and also resolution. So it's an important component of who we and what we are, and I'm thrilled to have Elon Musk here.
Hasan couldn't take Musk 1v1. You know, it's another thing that liberals do that Trump. Another thing that liberals do that's like kind of similar to the pro-Trump side of things, where like MAGA will say, "Oh, Trump is actually doing a great job because he's demanding 5% of like European countries' GDP to be put back into arms sales." All right, and like liberals will get mad at that because Trump is doing it. Meanwhile, Barack Obama also had a similar policy, and Joe Biden actually carried over Trump's previous policies of holding European countries to account on the NATO side of things. So like, you either have a pro-NATO position and you like it when Trump is doing it and you like it when Obama's doing it, or you have an anti-NATO position like I do, and you don't like it when either party is doing it. This is the issue. Hasan, you got to start charging TikTokers for your jokes.
Ice, you messed with the wrong guy. Step up, Ice. Step up. It's gonna get really bad. It's gonna get really bad for you. I would not want to be you right now. You're in some deep shit, buddy. You're gonna get some trouble. I'm gonna count to 5. 1, 2. Get out of here. Get out of here. 2.5, 3. Time out. Time out, Ice. I'm a pushover. I don't have a spine. Well, no one likes you.
It's true.
No.
Wow, blistering.
He came all the way from California to be here to see all of you. So thank you, Elon.
You're most welcome.
I hate him.
I mean, I heard about the formation of the Peace Summit, and I was like, is that PIEC? You know, a little piece of Greenland, a little piece of Venezuela.
we got one.
Oh my God, dude. Bro, I swear to God, I think he should go to jail just for that. I'm not kidding. Like, I think I think he should be in prison for just that joke. Like, not any of the other stuff. Like, I think his assets should be stripped of him. I think the government should take complete control over all of his assets, and they should put him in jail for that joke. He's jester maxing? Yeah. Elon Musk. I learned that jester maxing is now much better than doing the stiff arm approach. Yeah, I love clavicular. Damn, no wonder Grimes was looking at you like prime rib. This shit's rotten. I don't think that's that's not, that's not what happened. Okay, come on, calm down. Oh God, it is rotten though. This shit is rotten.
All we want is peace.
Okay, I'm going to, as I said, I'm a pretty proud CEO of BlackRock since we went public. The compounding return of BlackRock to our shareholders was 21%. Since Elon took Tesla public, his compounded return is 43%. This is just another advertisement for everybody, especially for Europeans. This is why more citizens should be investing with growth, investing with their countries. Imagine if a lot of pension funds invested with Elon when...
This wins the internet today. These people rule our planet, okay? If you cannot comprehend that meritocracy is a lie by just looking at the existence of Elon Musk, the wealthiest person on the planet, potentially the first trillionaire on the planet, nothing is going to cause you to understand the reality, okay? You will never see the truth. That's like, this is the insult to injury, okay? The injury is the existence of billionaires, but the insult is that they get to live amongst us and also behave like this and win favor with the crowd, okay? There are people out there who have reduced themselves, who have debased themselves so thoroughly that they do not see themselves as human beings, but just mere barely sentient organisms that play a role in defending and propping up the system and the billionaires that represent all of the excesses, the gross excesses of this unjust system that we exist under. It is crazy. It is crazy how much these cheerlead people like Elon Musk. I cannot deal with it, man. How do you have no self-respect? Oh, now that gold is over 4K, I'm gonna have this. Sigh. It's Mansa Musa of Timbuktu. If we take into account inflation, lol. How many will call this out? Why is a rabbi on the World Economic Forum stage referring to white people as the old Europeans?
Especially in Germany, you are facing a rise of anti-Semitism, but we are facing this all over the world. So I would like to hear what is your perspective on this.
Oh, he's signaling. It's like my favorite thing to watch is like the white identitarians constantly talk about how like Jews are actually waging war against the whites. Okay. I love watching it because on the one hand, it's like, the f- do you mean white identitarians? Like what, like, do you have sovereignty as a nation state or not? Like there is no like ethnic allegiance amongst all whites. Okay. There's never been a period of time in history where white people have actually united. Okay. White people have been killing each other for hundreds of fucking years. Okay. I'm not even going to link that trademark Elon tweet this time. Megaphonics, you want to link it so bad. Look at him. Look at him in the chat. Look at him in the chat. He wants to link it so bad. Chatter of the year, by the way. Low Kirk, there's nothing that you do that is low Kirkuency, okay? They united to enslave and exploit Africa. Yeah, even then they were fighting amongst one another, though. That's what I'm saying. Even then they were fighting. There's never been a moment where this haven't stopped fighting. Like the notion of like a united white front is ridiculous. And even then you have to ask like which kinds of white? Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but it brought them closer. True. Yeah, there is no common white identity. There's never been a common white identity historically. It doesn't exist. It's so stupid. The only place where you can arrive at something close to that is the United States of America. And even then, like, our races don't even know how to do racism right. It's on autopilot. White supremacy is on autopilot here. There is no disciplined white supremacist movement or organizing in this country beyond like some of these different formations, but most racist whites in the United States of America will just be like, yeah, I mean, it's fine. I like the racism component. I think it's all right, you know, but I like my treats a lot more than I care about defending white supremacy. Don't encourage them. I'm not even encouraging them. It's just like not true. They're in ICE, brother. Most of ICE is black and brown. Okay, they are militants for a white nativist anti-immigrant agenda. But like that in and of itself is ironically the point I'm making. Like it's the most. Fascism requires organizational discipline. Fascism requires ideological discipline. Fascism requires reading. Most Americans are too stupid to engage in it, okay? That's it. Not to say that fascists in Europe aren't stupid. They are. Just our version of that is never as disciplined as it could be, okay? It's on autopilot. The expressions of fascism in America is on autopilot, okay? It's just happening in the background at all at different points throughout time. On any given day, there is an expression of fascism in the form of white supremacy that exists, that is baked into all of our institutions, right? But it's not something that is like rigorously trained. It's not something that people are constantly thinking about or reinforcing. It's a very different version of racism and fascism, and even then, it's the closest that you can get to like a black-white identitarian movement. Okay, and even then, it's kind of dumb to be like, oh yeah, we're all a part of the united white race.
The 7th of October has created turbulence in the whole world, a tremendous rise of anti-Semitism, organized, state-sponsored in many instances, in universities, on the streets, and a rise of 500%, maybe some instances to 1,000% of anti-Semitic acts. And there has also been a reaction of Europe. I think the rise of the extreme right in many European countries is a response to the insecurity felt by the old Europeans, so-called old Europeans, regarding the new immigrants who came from the Middle East. So I think that fighting Islamophobia and anti-Semitism is an interest of both religions and both communities, and when we do it together, it's going to be much more useful. We have created, under also the Saudi umbrella, more than 10 years ago, the Muslim Jewish Leadership Council, and which was successful. And we believe that we have to go this way if we want to make sure that every European can live in peace and walk in peace in the streets.
This is the president of the Conference of European Rabbis talking about the old Europeans.
What is happening? What's the issue here? I don't even understand. Like, what is this Nazi chirping about? And why is Elon Musk responding to this guy? Guys, I hate Israel. Everybody knows I hate Israel. It's it's the reason why I'm considered the #1 op. These guys yell more about me being anti-Semitic than actual anti-Semites with regular frequency. But I just don't even understand what the these Nazis are complaining about. Like all the goddamn time. It's like, oh, they said it's the old Europeans. They're calling the whites old. Oh, they are replacing. It's a white replacement. They are doing a white replacement. It's like, shut the up, bro. Shut up. Shut up. Nothing that dude said was actually offensive beyond the fact that he basically said October 7 is the reason why there is a systemic Jew hatred that is happening everywhere. And it's not because of Israel's constantly doing unlimited violence to others while also masquerading as the single-handed North Star of an entire people and their religion, okay? Doing everything, doing the very same thing as the Nazis did to the Jews and others as well, but masquerading it as like a religious conflict or masquerading it as like doing it at the behest of religion. Yeah, that is the reason why there's a fuck ton of backlash. Hasan Piker, revolting person. Yeah, no, that person was memeing about what Jonathan Greenblatt calls me. Anyway, it's just, I can't believe that Elon Musk would like reply to, I mean, I can't believe it. What am I talking about? Of course, unacceptable thing for him to say. Unacceptable. Even his like Nazi shit is kind of fake too. On the one, it's like, it reminds me of JD Vance. You know what I mean? JD Vance's wife is Indian. His kids are Indian. New one on the way, by the way. Congratulations. And he always has to be like, yeah, I hate my Indian wife who's going to go to hell because she's not Christian. Right? Am I cool, guys? Am I base? It's like, bro, what are you talking about? And even with the same thing with Elon Musk, he's like, on the one hand, he's like, I love the Nazis. I love the white identitarian movement. Yeah, based. Oh, it's so good. It's so cool. Oh, it's so based. I hate when Jews are saying things about white people. I hate it. But it's like at the same time, he's like the #1 dick rider of Israel. So I feel like all of this stuff is just fake. You know, they're all fake demons, all of them. And as long as you're pro-Israel, it don't matter. You can say whatever the fuck you want. You can Sig Heil twice on the podium on the day of the inauguration, and you know no one is going to get mad at you really, because at least you're performatively protecting the whites. Yeah.
Tesla went public.
Well, I mean, yesterday we saw with Bob that you can think Jews in Israel control the world, but also love Israel and all that it does. Yeah, that was crazy. I thought I would have got him on that one, but nope. He stood firmly. He was like, you know what I hate more than Jews? Muslims. Like that was truly the like, I thought I hit the wall on that one. You know what I mean? Like the logical limit. I thought we were limit breaking. I thought that was going to be a moment where he was like, you know what? I'll give that to you. Nope. You reminded him of his days in the Crusades. That was pretty wild.
And how much we return with all the pension funds that invested side by side.
I don't know what's going to happen in 10 years, but the rate at which AI is progressing.
I truly don't understand how you can be the wealthiest person on the planet, clearly care about the way you look, and still fail so spectacularly. Like, you're still fat as you still have this like crazy barrel chest. I don't even know how you fix that, to be honest. And your hairline is receding once again. How is this possible? You're the wealthiest person on the planet. How is this possible? Not to get all clavicular up in your ass, but I don't understand it. I genuinely don't understand it. Like, you either don't give a shit and you're, goated like Gaben, right? Gaben is free. He doesn't care, right? He's awesome. He looks cool. And you just like kind of lean into it, or you give a shit and you, do what you need to do to Mog. Like, what's his face? Like Mark Zuckerberg. You get hit with the Dominican ray, like Mark Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos. Elon Musk gives a shit, gives far too much of a shit, as a matter of fact, while simultaneously looking like shit. How is that possible?
I think we might have AI that is smarter than any human by the end of this year, and I would say no later than next year. Wow. And then probably by 2030 or 2031, call it 5 years from now, AI will be smarter than all of humanity collectively.
Oh, no, it won't. Oh my gosh, shut the fuck up. These guys, everyone that is invested in AI has to constantly talk about how AI is going to save the world, but it's also so powerful that it's going to delete the world. And please give us another $1 trillion, please. That's all these are doing. Meanwhile, you can't have RAM, you can't have GPUs. Sucks to suck. Your electricity bill is going to triple. And that's it. This man has never been correct on any prediction that he's ever made, ever. Okay? He is a known fabulist. He is a known charlatan. And it doesn't even matter because the stock market is fake. It's the most fake it's ever been. And it will continue to be fake. It will get even faker. AI is not smart. It's not intelligent. It's the accumulation of human content. It has biased shit in its corruptive data. Lots of issues. Really, Elon's a dumbass. He's not an inventor. He's an investor. I know. I just don't. You should say you're all in on Doge so that he'll have to self-destruct. I guess the only reason why AI will be smarter than the average person is because the average person is getting dumber and dumber in America. Partially because they're relying heavily on AI. It's a never-ending cycle of getting dumber and dumber. Thank you. I just, like generative AI is the least important and most dirty component of all of these AI initiatives. And the only reason why they lean heavily into generative AI is because it's the one that is the most accessible to the normies, the dumbest normies specifically. LLMs and generative AI is straight up the dumbest version of AI. There is utilization for AI. A lot of smart people are utilizing AI already. We've talked about it. We've talked about it with respect to, like, you know, what they're doing in the field of medicine, and you know, running tests on all these different, like, chemical compounds, things like that. AI, the most, protein folding, shit like that. That's all great. But AI in the you know, majority use case is just like generative AI and LLMs, and they're dog shit. They're very stupid. They're engaging. They're making people engage in cognitive offloading. It's making them dumber and more reliant on an inconsistent chatbot that could potentially tell them fake shit very confidently. I mean, I even saw Ryan Grimm fall for it. You know, it happens. You could be smart. You could be a great journalist, and you can still kind of fall for it, especially when you have a bias to believe that there is, it's feeding you information that you think is reliable. What I'm referring to, of course, is like the grok thing that a lot of these accounts have been doing about, like, whether or not AI or whether or not Twitter is actually lowering their you know, like boosting certain accounts in the algorithm on Twitter, or if Twitter is actually deboosting their account so that it's not as visible. Grok does not have access to this kind of information. Like, it can't give you lines of code that shows you how Twitter is deboosting you in the algorithm. Like, that kind of stuff is dumb. It's just like, and people still believe it, no matter how smart they are, especially if they're biased in a particular direction. Jeff Bezos advises aspiring Gen Z entrepreneurs to start at the real world jobs like McDonald's or Palantir before starting a business. Nope, not sure why Polymarket made this up. Jeff Bezos, my Dominican king, replied to Polymarket. That's my boss, guys. I'm a company man through and through. Lauren Sanchez even said your name one time. That was before your ban? Wait, what? No, that's not real. You just made that up, right? I meant in the bedroom. Oh, dude. Jesus Christ. I believed it for a second. Did you see Jeff at the holiday party? Bitch, I'm not invited to those holiday parties. And even if I was, I would not go. Come on. I am very happy with Jeff Bezos never knowing who I am. I already have a sneaking suspicion that he might know who I am, and I don't want him to know who I am. Do you understand? I have been perceived by Elon Musk already far too many times, and I don't like it. Okay? Elon Musk was tagging Jeff Bezos on Twitter to get him to ban me on Twitch, and that was not a fun time for me. Okay? If anything, I hope he never finds out who I am, or if he does, I hope he at least appreciates my existence due to our mutual distaste of Elon Musk. That's what I will lean into if push comes to shove. You know what I mean? I'd be like, Daddy Jeff Bezos, please do not laser me. Please do not chop my body up into different bits and pieces with your private military contractors and then send me into space, because Elon Musk, a man that you hate, hates me just as much as he hates you. Just don't get his wife on stream. Oh, his ex-wife is more likely. Let's be real. His ex-wife is more likely to come on stream, or at least, like, fund some initiative that I'm involved in. But I will never let that happen, because, like I said, it is much better to not be perceived by these people, okay?
Aliens among us. And I'll say that I am one, but...
Or you're from the future.
They don't believe me.
Okay.
But I think if anyone would know if there are aliens among us, it would be me. We have 9,000 satellites up there, and not once have we had to maneuver around an alien spaceship. So I'm like, I don't know. Bottom line is, I think we need to assume that life and consciousness is extremely rare, and it might only be us. And if that's the case, then we need to do everything possible to ensure that the light of consciousness is not extinguished, because we're effectively, the way I view it is, the image in my mind is of a tiny candle in a vast darkness. A tiny candle.
Can you and I reverse aging in this new history, or are we going to see it?
I haven't.
Dude, he's the biggest charlatan. I swear to God, if he says it is possible to reverse aging, I'm betting on the opposite of that. He has never had a correct prediction, and he has never said the truth about the technological innovation that's coming out of any of his companies. This is a man who, I believe, 15 years ago said, in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to occupy Mars. We're going to colonize Mars. Okay? When she and Putin are talking about living to 150 years and how it's actually possible, I'll believe it. If Elon Musk says it, well, kind of makes me reverse my position on the whole thing. Okay?
I haven't put much time into the aging stuff. I do think it is a very solvable problem. Like you can, I think when we find,
yeah, the very solvable problem. It's like the number one thing that every wealthy and powerful person has tried to combat since the beginning of time. Anyone with a modicum of power has tried to literally combat this. He's like, oh, it's just very solvable. Yeah.
Figure out what causes aging. I think we'll find it's incredibly obvious. It's not a subtle thing. The reason I say it's not a subtle thing is because all the cells in your body, with some pretty much age at the same rate. I've never seen someone with an old left arm and a young right arm ever in my life. So why is that? That means that there must be a clock, a synchronizing clock, that is synchronizing across 35 trillion cells in your body. There is some benefit to death, by the way. It's like there's a reason why we don't actually have a longer lifespan, because if people do live forever for a very long time, I think there's some risk of an ossification of society, of things just getting kind of locked in place, it just may become stultifying, just not lack vibrancy. But that said, do I think?
Yes, dude. Yes, you are such a non-human that he can't even say death is what makes life worth living, because it's finite that you're supposed to enjoy it. If it's infinite, then obviously humanity and what drives us changes, and it alters everything. But no, he can't even say that. He has to be like, oh, it's we'll ossify. There's ossifying. He's a ketamine abuser. I don't know.
I think we'll figure out ways to extend life and maybe even reverse aging. I think that's highly likely.
This is what happens when you don't ever read a book or never ponder the meaning of existence, okay? You don't ever read a book. You don't have a moment to yourself where you're just like trapped in your own mind thinking about why things happen. This is what happens. Open Presents with another 100 gifted subs. I don't know what the hell's going on. Open Presents is showering me together today. Kai Cenat speaks better, bruh. Yeah, because Kai Cenat actually is reading books now, unlike Elon Musk, who has never read.
Mr. President, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you.
You have talked about this framework, the beginning of a framework that you've spoken with the NATO secretary about. Can you tell us anything about that? Does this ultimately mean that the U.S. will ultimately acquire Greenland?
Well, I don't know if I can say that, but it could be. I mean, it's possible. Anything's possible. But in the meantime, we're getting everything we wanted: total security, total access to everything, have as many bases, have all the equipment that we want. And very importantly,
he read Mein Kampf at least 3 times. Stop lying so much. No, not even. No, he doesn't even read shit that would like at least give him some intellectual basis on all the wrong stuff that he believes and spreads. Okay, he's not reading shit. I'm gooning to you and Trump. Okay, Mark Rutte, chill. I'm gooning. Yeah, Zaddy is on screen. Yeah, I'm gooning. Oh, I'm gooning so hard.
You know, we're building the Golden Dome, we call it. It was called the Iron Dome. Somehow the Golden Dome sounded a little bit better.
Yes, that's what I call myself, is a golden dome. I'm Mark Water, and this is Daddy.
We have a technology that's second to none. You saw what we did with Israel, and that's our genius that did that, and it's amazing. It's just, you know, it's foolproof, and we're going to be building it, and it works much better when we have access to Greenland. Just covers more territory, covers it more accurately. Missiles will be more accurate by having it. It's very important strategically as a piece, and we will have everything we want. We're getting everything we want at no cost.
So the Golden Dome will be on Greenland?
A piece of it, yes, and it's a very important part because it's everything comes over Greenland. If the bad guys start shooting, it comes over Greenland. So we knock it down. It's pretty infallible. It's amazing. You know, Ronald Reagan had the idea a long time ago, but we didn't have any technology at that point. The concept was great, but there was no technology. Now we have unbelievable technology. I mean, virtually 100%.
So what are we talking about? An acquisition of Greenland? Are you going to pay for it? I mean,
we're talking about it. It's really being negotiated now, the details of it, but essentially it's total access. It's there's no end. There's no time limit. We're not doing a 99 or a 10-year or anything else. You know, the famous 99-year deals that you hear about, because countries can't do it for that. Countries go on longer. And so I think it's going to be something that's very well, already it's being reviewed very well. Well, I noticed the stock market went up very substantially after we announced it. But the details are being negotiated now. It'll be very good.
So because the GDP of Greenland is like $3.3 billion, but people are valuing Greenland of between $50 billion and almost $1 trillion. So what are you willing to pay for Greenland?
Well, I'm not going to have to pay anything. We're going to have total access to Greenland. We're going to have all military access that we want. We're going to be able to put what we need on Greenland because we want it. We're talking about national security and international security. So we're going to not have to pay anything other than the fact that we are building the goal.
Hasan, what books do you read, and why is it feminist literature? I don't read any feminist literature. Let's be real. That's like my biggest area of weakness. That and like, I don't know, stock market shit maybe. Like, there's a #1 gripe that people have with me. How dare you, men? It's true.
Golden Dome, and the Golden Dome is going to be something that's going to be very amazing. It'll be Israel times probably 100. And we need it. I think we need it. And it's all going to be made in the United States. We have the best weapons in the world. We have the best companies in the world. We want them to produce faster. And, you know, we've put a mandate out. You're going to have to produce faster, whether it's the Patriots or the Tomahawks or the F-35s or anything else. We make the best equipment, but they have to make it a lot faster.
And you've said you want a defense budget of $1.5 trillion for 2027. How do you pay for that with a $37 trillion debt load?
Yeah, the money that's coming.
So why can't you address it and grow? There's only a finite amount of time throughout the day. That's it. Why am I being derailed? Come on, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Enough, enough.
Astronomical. You know, we'll be taking in over $600 billion this year alone in tariffs, and that's because we're doing it nice and easy. We're not even doing it strongly. We hope we have a good decision from the Supreme Court. If we don't, we figure something else. But it certainly makes life a lot easier if we have that decision that we're waiting for. If we don't, we'll do something else. But we have a lot of money coming in. We have a tremendous success. We have over $18 trillion. It could be when I get the final numbers, could be more than that now because, you know, that was a month and a half ago, but we have $18 trillion coming into the country in the form of investments. We have thousands of businesses being built all over the country. And you see it, you report on it better than anybody else. I appreciate that. But, you know, when you think of 18 trillion plus, no country's done anywhere near that. Like, that's probably 4 times, 5 times more than any other country's ever done.
And I always say money goes where it's treated best.
Well,
so you've got the right policies, obviously.
But they want to be treated good. They want to know that, you know, we have a country that's hot. We had a dead country 1 year ago. This was a dead under Biden. You know that better than anybody, but we were a dead country. The king of Saudi Arabia said it to me. I use it all the time. He said, you know, 1 year ago you were a dead country. Now you have the hottest country in the world. We're the hottest country in the world.
Mr. President, are our relations with Europe deteriorating or worsening? I mean, French President Macron called the Greenland situation colonialism. European leaders have these emergers.
I'll be honest. I think they're still cucked. I don't think it's changing. I think these guys just want to go back to business as usual desperately. Their entire existence revolves around this. Or if there is a transition going from liberalism to fascism, they want to be the ones who make that transition happen. And they want to land as gently as possible in that direction. If you step foot in Tallahassee, you will be reduced to atoms. I'm almost done. Hold still and maintain eye contact. Would you say you're a hood vegan or a light-skinned cheerleader? If you step foot in Tallahassee, you will be reduced to atoms. Yeah, I think I'm going to be all right on that one. That's a Los Pollos meme. Bro, don't you ever think about stepping foot in Little Rock, Arkansas. Los Pollos reference, my bad. Okay.
Talks to try to...
that guy hates me, dude. Los Pollos hates me.
Retaliate or stop your plans.
I got ops that I don't even know about. You know what I mean? I got ops that I thought all he did was just Drake and drive and talk about how Drake is so awesome. I didn't even realize he had like political opinions. You know what I mean? It's so funny. Montana has your number, bro. Oh, hell no. Yeah. All the D1 Drake riders hate you, to be honest. Yeah, because they all are suspiciously on kick. He fell for Twitter clips. I mean, the Europeans have come up with an ingenious compromise. If they give Trump the Sudetenland, surely he won't go for the rest of Czechoslovakia. Yep. Member states discuss a compromise in which Denmark would give the United States sovereignty over small pockets of Greenlandic land. Degenerate vassals serving a degenerate empire is true. Okay? The principle here is that Trump rules over you. Okay? He rules over you. He rules over the continent. He rules over all. And the reality of the matter is, today, it's pieces of Greenland. Tomorrow, it could be Norway. You got pronunciation up. Sudetenland. Did I fuck it up again? I don't know how to say it. Sudetenland. Sudetenland. Sudden death in land. Anyway. I think the liberals think that, you know, they can just be happy vassals rather than angry slaves. They can continue being happy vassals. They want to continue being happy vassals, and they're fine with what comes next. That's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see.
You're threatening France with 200% tariffs on wine and champagne. There's been a real reaction from the European group. So,
well, they put a service charge on us, you know, which is something that they're going to have to remove. I think we get along good, but, you know, I've always debated, we are always going to be there for them, but will they be there for us? I've always said that, you know, if we ever needed them, because NATO has very much been a one-way street. We actually paid, until I came along, we were paying for, I think we paid 100% the cost of NATO. They weren't paying, and we were paying. We have hundreds of thousands of soldiers in Germany. We have 50,000 soldiers in other countries. We have a lot of soldiers, not only Europe and other places. And, you know, we want that to be reciprocal. We want to be liked and respected. So I've always said, and we get along very well with NATO, I think, but I've always said, will they be there if we ever needed them? And that's really the ultimate test. And
bro, I was talking to Felix about this. I saw old clip of Trump from like 2015, 2016, where he's talking about like women wearing the hijab and shit. And he is so devoid of the sauce. Okay. He had the juice. He had the sauce. He has lost it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that clip. It was a new one for me, but he's like, it's like when he's going, why the hell do I care about this? Where it's a classic, but I had not seen it. Okay. I had not seen him. Let's pull it up. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can, because I sent it to Felix. And let me see if I can pull it up on my phone real quick, or at least like maybe someone can actually show me. Back in the day, everyone used to always say, whenever I said Felix, people would say, oh, Felix Langiel, XQC. Nowadays, no one says it, except there are still some people saying it in the chat. That's crazy. That's funny. That's sad, but good job, guys. Oh, here, this is it. This is it.
Would we be better off, as an example, in Iraq? What are we doing? What are we doing? The migration was caused by Iraq, by Libya, by this. We want to give people freedom? We're not going to have our own freedom pretty soon if we keep doing this. We're not going to have our own freedom. They don't want freedom. It's like I saw somebody, I won't even say because it's embarrassing. We want it where the women over there don't have to wear the you-know-what. And then I said, oh, well, that makes sense. That's nice. Then I saw women interviewed. They said, we want to wear them. We've worn them for 1,000 years. Why would anybody tell us not to? They want to. What the hell are we getting involved for? In fact, it's easier. You don't have to put up makeup. Look how beautiful everyone looks. Wouldn't it be easier? Wah. Right? Wah. Wouldn't that be easy? I'll tell you, if I was a woman, I don't want to. Wah. I'm ready, darling. Let's go. It's true.
Bro, that's literally 9 years ago, man. That's July 20. That's 10 years ago almost. Like, look at that. He basically takes a position, a non-interventionist position, by still hitting on a very right-wing thing, and then justifies it. Brother, he has not changed one bit. Are you you just watched this? Now listen to him now.
I'm not sure of that.
Look at his face and look at his statements.
I know that we would have been there, or we would be there, but will they be there? And let's hope that that never happens. We've never needed them. We have never really asked anything of them. You know, they'll say they.
Israeli media reports Trump preparing a strike on Iran. Yeah, I told you guys that once the cruisers were lined up in and around Israel so they can defend, you know, the only important nation on the planet, Israel, Am Israel Chai, of course. I hope everyone said their 10 Am Israel Chais. Only after that will they actually even entertain striking Iran.
Send some troops to Afghanistan or this or that. And they did. They stayed a little off the front lines. But we've been very good to Europe and to many other countries. And, you know, now under my administration, that began because we had a very successful first term. That began then, but it has to be a two-way street. And it's been a two-way street, much more so. And now it's really been a two-way street.
So what should we expect from the European countries? I mean, they've got this EU...
Yeah, 2016, 2 was. 2026, 0 was. No wah. Wah.
Anti-coercion instrument that would be, you know, services, impacting our services, as you said. And then the Danish pension fund said that they're going to exit U.S. treasuries, $100 million treasuries at the end of December. European countries hold trillions of stocks and bonds from the U.S. Do you worry that they would start selling those in retaliation?
If they do, they do. But, you know, if that would happen, there would be a big retaliation on our part. And we have all the cards.
Mm-hmm. And how much of all of this, you've been so tough on so much. I mean, Venezuela, Iran, et cetera, a long list. How much of this is messages to China and Russia as well?
I think they see what happens. Look, we attacked Iran. We wiped out their nuclear capacity one night. This was supposed to have been done for the last 25 years, and it wasn't by American presidents. And we did it, and it was a tremendous success. We wiped out, as you know, al-Baghdadi, that's ISIS, the founder of ISIS, and he was rebuilding ISIS. I knocked him out first term. Soleimani, that was a big one. He's the father of the roadside bomb. All the young people that you see without arms and legs, and their face was blown to pieces. And that was 95% sure it was al-Baghdadi. He was the father of the roadside bomb. He's gone. Now he's white.
He has such a beautiful way with words, man. Al-Baghdadi died like a dog, father of the roadside bomb.
Out. And recently Venezuela, but a big one was, you know, you take a look at what we did. We would not have peace in the Middle East if we didn't take out the nuclear capacity from Iran. We wiped it out. Operation Midnight Hammer, it's called, and that was an incredible feat. Every single bomb went right down those chutes and exploded. 100,000-pound bombs, massive.
I think he thinks his first name was Al. Yeah. Al. Like Allen Iverson. Al-Baghdadi. Lots of Al's. Everyone always says Muhammad is the most popular name in the region, but I think it's Al. Al this, Al that, and then followed by Bean. Al and Bean. Everyone's got a name where they say, oh, this guy is Al. Weird Al Yankovic.
Bombs, they went right through. In the dark of night, no moon, no anything. Every single bomb hit its target perfectly. And then recently Venezuela, you know, some people think that was sort of the most amazing because this was in a major military fort. One of the biggest military forts went in. did the job, came out. Nobody can believe it happened. Nobody killed, no equipment lost. Pretty amazing.
It could be that what you did in Venezuela galvanized the people of Iran, and I want to get your take on next steps, because you told the people of Iran you're with them. Help is on the way. We understand from reports at least 20,000 people are dead. How do you know they're no longer killing citizens, and will you finish the job?
Well, I hear two different reports. I mean, I hear different numbers, much different than those numbers. But I will say that they were going to hang 837 people that you know about, and that was sort of a done deal. And I said, if you do that, you're going to pay a big price. You're going to get hit harder than anybody's ever been hit before. And they decided not to do that. So they didn't hang those people on Thursday. Last Thursday, they were going to hang. Can you believe it? We're talking about this?
No.
That's from 1,000 years ago, right? But that's what we're dealing with. And yet smart, cunning people. But it's an ancient way of life. They were going to hang 837 people. And I said, in the very strongest of language, don't do it. And they didn't do it, so that was a big thing. And from there, we'll see what happens. I mean, that's the last we had to do with them for a little while. But if we didn't take out their nuclear threat, there would not be peace in the Middle East. Nobody could have done it. They were all afraid. They were afraid. They used to say the bully of the Middle East, that Iran was the bully of the Middle East. Now, they're not such an effective bully anymore.
Well, if they keep killing people, will you go back?
Well, I don't want to talk about that because I don't want to put myself in a position. I can't say that. I don't want to say it because I think it would be stupid for me to say that.
And I get that. I want to turn to the economy, Mr. President, because when I first interviewed you, when you first came back, it was about a month after the inauguration for your second term. I asked you, Mr. President, what do you want the economy to look like in 4 years? And you were very clear. You said, I want the private sector to rule the day. And since then, in the last year, you've taken a 10% stake in Intel. You've taken a stake in MP, Mountain Pass. You told the defense companies 2 weeks ago, don't pay any dividends, don't do buybacks until you produce the weapons that we need. So please explain to our audience, how is that free market capitalism?
Well, it's very free market. We have defense companies that were making a fortune. They were buying back stock with all their money, and then they come to us for money if they want to, we want to buy something or we want to have plants built, and they'd say, could you loan us the money? And they'd be doing tens of billions of dollars of stock buybacks. So I'm not letting them do it. I want them to put money into, we have the best equipment in the world, the Patriots, the Tomahawks, the F-35s, all of our equipment's the best. Other countries want it, and we want it. We need more. It takes too long to get it. And I said, we're not going to do that anymore. So also, they were making tremendous amounts of money. I mean, 25, 50, $37 million a year. That's a lot of money. That's almost as much as you make. You work harder. You work harder than them. No, but, they were making, I asked one of the gentlemen, what are you making? Sir, I make $24 million. How come it takes me 5 years to get your particular thing that they make, right? So I put a cap on that for a period of time. I said, you have to build more plants. When we need Tomahawks, I want them within 24 hours. When we need any kind of a Patriot or whatever I want to have it quickly. I don't want to be waiting 3 years for it. What kind of a thing is that? And you make all this money. And I'm prohibiting them from doing stock buyback. And they haven't even complained about it.
Well, so free market capitalism, unless it's a national security issue?
Look, it's free market. It's stupid market letting that take. Why would I let them do stock buybacks and we give them, the businesses from us? So I want to buy, and interestingly, their stocks went up because we raised the budgets. Our budgets are higher. We're going to buy more military equipment. We have to. In this world, we have to. We have the strongest military. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We have the strongest military we've ever had. And we're going to keep it that way. And you get a little glimpse of that with Iran nuclear, but you got a really very current glimpse from 2 weeks ago with Venezuela. Yeah. We have the smartest, we have the strongest, we have the best equipment. They had a lot of anti-aircraft stuff that didn't exactly work too well.
No, thank God for our military and for our commander-in-chief on that.
We have the greatest, strongest military in the world, and we make the best equipment. We have to make it faster.
Mr. President, let me talk about affordability, because just in the last 100 days, you announced a list of things that you want to be putting in place, bringing down the cost on a number of things, a 10% cap on credit cards, $200 billion in purchases of mortgage-backed securities, banning institutions from owning single-family homes. How soon would you expect those policies to actually move the needle on cost?
Well, I think they're going going to kick in pretty quickly. But
someone said he must have been told he only has X months to live, and I think that's right. Dude, I feel like he'd be crazier than this if he only had a couple months to live. I feel like he'd be doing way crazier shit. And I mean like way crazier shit. I think that's just cope in general. The idea that like a tyrant, a brutal tyrant will not be deposed by the people, but instead will go away with divine intervention. I think that's just like maximalist cope. Hate to break it to you guys, you know, it's just not how that works. Okay. Having said that, however, you know, it would be far crazier than what we were seeing so far, I think.
we're doing great on affordability. You know, that's a word that the Democrats made up. They're the ones that caused the problem. When I inherited this,
Yeah, same with Erdogan. Yeah, Democrats made up the word affordability is awesome. Brother, you won on affordability. You promised affordability. That was your signature promise.
I came into office, I had eggs that were 5 times higher than they ever were, and the people were screaming at me. Remember the famous, like 2 days after I come into, what about eggs?
We're all becoming Turks Lamau. Yes, the fate of all mankind is to inevitably become Turkified. It's happening with Europe. That's what I was thinking of the other day, where it's like Europe is basically Turkey now. They're also in NATO. They're becoming Turkified. They get like little side deals here and there, and it makes them feel powerful. It makes them feel strong in this allegiance that they have with the United States of America. And then America still rolls over them whenever they see fit. Exactly like Turkey. Except I think Erdogan knows that he is supposed to be a lapdog to America. And he has figured out a way to wheel and deal like little things. And by that, I mean, by little things, I mean usually always, killing Kurds. That's the little thing that he can extract out of both the European leadership and also the Western leadership. Or outside of that, that's foreign policy. The little things that he can extract is Europeans and the Western world turning a blind eye when he jails his entire opposition and shit, you know? He's like, oh, yeah, you did Syria, fine. You know, you get a lot of enmity, you get a lot of heat from Israel now, and we'll give you a couple drone strikes on Kurdish territories, and we'll turn a blind eye to you jailing every opposition figure in the country.
About eggs?
Yeah. I just got to office.
I said, do we have a problem with eggs? I just got here, right? And we have that down now lower. But the food prices are coming down. Look at gasoline, $1.99 in a lot of places. We're down to $1.99 in a lot of places. We're $2.30 overall, but we're down to $1. It was $4.50, $500. I mean, think of it. It was $4. You were spending in a lot of places over $5. We have it at $1.99. That's better than any tax cut. In addition, the great big beautiful bill just kicked in. And now you have no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security for our seniors, no tax on overtime.
So good.
That bill is going to have a huge, and you have, of course, the 1-year deduction from, build a plant and you can deduct.
I was just going to say the depreciation seems like it's really having an impact on small
We have thousands of businesses being built all over the country. There's never been a time like this in our country.
Where? What are you saying? Where? Where is there growth? The only growth is in the stock market. And even then, it's just for like 4 companies, and it's not like they're hiring new people either. Where's the growth? They're just building AI data centers. That's it. That's it. Growth is in everything's casino, everything is computer, everybody transgender. That's it. It's one big AI circle jerk. Where is the growth? Yeah, also healthcare. True. To a certain degree, healthcare is growing because boomers are getting even older. Older than you've never seen before, but healthcare always grows. And even healthcare's growth rate has been stunted. It's dog shit. People can't find jobs. They're like, if you're under the age of 40, you've just given up. If you're under the age of 40 and you don't currently have a job, you're and on top of that, he's cutting so many things that are supposed to make things more affordable, like subsidies, right? Like, the current system that we have for healthcare is already busted, and they're making it worse. And he's over here being like, everything's great. Everyone's growing.
Country. And, a lot of that's the $18 trillion that's pouring in. I spoke with Eli Lilly the other day. He's a great guy, a great leader. And I said, What are you doing? He's building 5 plants. They're spending billions and billions of dollars bringing back the drug industry into this country. Many of them, I think all of them, they all want to come. And it's because of tariffs, because they don't want to pay the tariffs. Very simple.
And I
think they were very happy with November 5th, the election.
On the cap on credit.
Eli Lilly's a company name, not a person. That's what you think. I know Eli. He's a very good guy. Very good guy. Loves me.
Card rates, and of course they were up to 28, 30% in some cases. But
Mr. Eli and Mr. Tim Apple.
How can you do that? Look, I'm all for free enterprise and everything else, but you have a guy goes out and he's a little bit late on his payment, and he ends up filing for bankruptcy, right? 28%. Whatever happened to usury? Whatever happened? They used to have laws that you can't charge too much. But 28%, 30%.
Yeah, Eli Lilly died in 1898, but he loves him. He would have loved me if he was alive. Trust me.
32%. I don't think anyone knows that. I think they get a bill and they end up just going bankrupt.
Well, one analyst said it's going to cut earnings for the banks for between 5% and 16%.
It's a one-year deal. We got to let people get back on their feet.
Jamie Dimon says that it's an economic disaster.
They were destroyed. These people were destroyed during the Biden years. They were destroyed. We had the highest inflation in history. Look at inflation for the last 3 months. It's 1.2%. Last 3 months. It takes a little time to get there. And I'll tell you, the oil price is coming down so much. Gasoline, when you get gasoline down to, less than $2, and we've largely done that. It's coming down, and it's coming down. We're drilling more than we've ever drilled. We have more coming in. And
all right, we found it. We found a guy. We found a guy. I work for a company that's having growth from the tariffs. It's a cabinet company that's fighting bigger corporate business or other business importing cabinets from China. All right, hell yeah. We found a guy. Okay. Fair. Trump only hates usury because he bankrupted a casino. Let's be real. I don't think Trump hates usury, man. Usury is a sin. It's haram. That's what they tell me. All right. I go to the Gulf states. They tell me, Mr. President, you are the best. You are so halal, Mr. President. You hate usury. It's a sin, they say.
50 million barrels of oil from Venezuela. And they gave it to us.
That chatter is a part of the 0.05% GDP increase in 2025, by the way. That's how cooked we are. Do you understand? Because outside of AI, data centers, recycling the same money around, there's like a 0.05% growth in the GDP. And that chatter is one of that. That chatter is seemingly working at one of the companies.
Get rid of it. They gave it to us. It's, could be close to $5 billion. No, we're doing really well. Our country is, you report on it better than anyone else. Our country is doing as well as I think it's done better than it's ever done.
Are you going to release a budget next month? And do you want to see another reconciliation package?
Well, I think we have a problem because I think we're going to probably end up in another Democrat shutdown because that's the only way. When we came out with the numbers over 5, everyone was shocked. But remember, we would have been up 1.5 points more. We would have been at 6.5, maybe more than that, except for the shutdown. The shutdown cost us a lot. And I think they'll probably do it again. That's my feeling. We'll see what happens.
So will you release a budget?
No
treats. We're going to have a budget.
What's in the budget?
What's too early? We have a long way. That's an eternity. When you talk about a couple of weeks in this world, that's an eternity. But we're negotiating the budget right now. We're negotiating health care. I don't want the insurance companies to get the money. I want the money to be paid directly back to the people. And when it comes back to the people, by the way, everyone is in love with it. You know what happened? I'm looking and on your show, but I'm looking and I'm reading the papers and I'm seeing that these insurance companies are up 1,000%. They're up 1,700%, 1,400%. And I say, what the hell? This is money being given by the government. And it has to do with largely, a lot of it, Obamacare. The money's going, that was designed.
Oh, I can't stand when Republicans do this thing where they will literally point to a problem, an inefficiency in the system, and then use that as a reason for why they must exhaust the inefficiency further. Yes, Obamacare basically works like a subsidy for private insurance. But the problem there is the existence of private insurance. The solution to that is not to make private insurance less regulated or to rob it of any subsidies whatsoever. So then those companies refuse to actually cover anybody. The solution to that is to abolish it in its entirety and bring it under the banner of the state. They do this for everything. They'll be like, gun control. Excuse me. Gun control is a problem. The problem there is mass availability of guns, okay? There's an arsenal that you can purchase by walking into a goddamn Walmart. That's the issue. But what do Republicans do? They go, gun violence is a big issue. Well, how do we solve it? More guns. Why didn't I think of that? That's how you fix it, obviously. Their solution is literally to look at the problem and go, let's make it worse. Let's lean into the problem. Anyway, Nikema Levy Armstrong arrested after disrupting Minnesota church service. Hasan Reactions, one of the best ones in the React channel.